Hey, this is Kyle from the Longbox Cast. I'm sure you've heard my co-host Steve talk about Revenge Lover designs a million times. But now I'm going to mention it for the 1,000,001st time, so stick with me here. If you need a really kick-ass logo, but you don't want to ask your neighbor's kid because you know he's going to do it on PowerPoint or Microsoft Word, then go to RevengeLover.com and tell her Kyle from the Longbox Cast sent you. I guarantee you she'll use Photoshop or Illustrator or one of the professional design programs that graphic designers are supposed to be doing. Seriously, who the hell uses PowerPoint?
Greetings, fellow humans. This is Pat Callahan from All White Tukey. You're listening to another great podcast on the Four-Eyed Radio Network. Yeah. Alright, and welcome to a brand new episode of the Arcade Bros. I am Steve-O, and along with me today is...
Player 3, Matthew, or Renfro, or whatever.
Whatever you want to go by. You know what, you're going to go by Big Splice.
Big Splice?
I don't know. I was trying to come up with something witty off the cuff, and it did not work. Of course, we're going to just say this. We're just going to say Raven is on her maternity leave right now, so she might pop in and out of episodes, but once she's done with all that and gets her life, dealing with a baby, she'll be back. So, but yeah, Matthew and I will take over, and I'm in debates right now. If we can do this weekly, great. If not, bi-weekly works fine too. So we'll keep you guys posted of what's going on with Arcade Bros until Raven gets back on the normal gaming train. She's probably like gaming a lot now, though. I'll guarantee that.
Right.
But of course, we're brought to you by Revenge Lover, illustrations and designs that fit your personalities. For samples and inquiries, please visit RevengeLover.com and also Amazon.com. Hopefully, this actually works this time. But you can go to the Sasquatch.net, click on the Amazon banner, and shop like you normally do. We'll get a little taste if you do. And, of course, you can find us on www.arcade-bros.com, part of the 4i Radio Network. To listen to the shows, you can go to 4iRadio.com, Spreaker, iTunes, Stitcher, Zune Marketplace, BlackBerry Podcast, Blueberry Podcast, Mirror Guide, Double Twist, YouTube, Swell Radio, and Player FM. And now, with all that out of the way, you talked about it a little bit on Socially Awkward, but we can let the people here who don't listen to that show. Matthew played a real-life Wii game yesterday.
Yeah. I completed the Spartan race, which is a Reebok race, I guess. It's like a extreme obstacle course. This one I thought it was 3 miles, but it turned out to be 5.1 miles.
Ooh.
There's 23 obstacles, and we completed all of them except for one, which was the rope climb. I've never climbed a rope before, so I struggled a lot. And if you don't finish a obstacle, your punishment, quote unquote, is to do 30 burpees. And do you know what burpees are?
No. Is that an actual like burping kind of thing, or do you have to actually do this weird athletic thing?
You jump up, and then you have to drop down into like a push-up position, and then push yourself back up and jump up and repeat. So you had to do that 30 times.
I would not call that a burpee. I would call that hell.
Yeah, it's a good transition of it. We had to do that, and we also at the javelin throw area. If you didn't make it because you got one try, you had to do them too. But we were almost finished, so we decided to just skip that part.
Okay.
We did the javelin, but we didn't do the burpees. But
you're like, yeah, no, we did it. We wink. No, that's cool though. I'm glad you did that. I know you were talking with Patrick, who was on Socially Awkward not too long ago. Actually, first time he's been on it, and yeah, he's been wanting to get me to do like a marathon run and stuff like that. And I said, yeah, I'll totally be able to do that because I'm actually surprising when I did go out running again. I actually can I guess it's called muscle memorization. Like your muscles kind of can remember certain things you've done. And for some strange reason, I can actually run for a long distance, which is weird to think about that because everyone's all like, well, Steve, you smoke cigarettes and you're not really that, like, you don't look athletic at all right now. And I'm like, I'm not really not, but for some strange reason, I can actually be like, oh, I can pace myself and I can run. So,
yeah, well, that's good.
But that's good. I'm glad you did that. That's cool. You actually do that a lot. You every so often you'll be like, oh yeah, we're gonna do the wipeout thing, and you are, for a guy who like hasn't been like, I don't know when the last time you were active, like probably not until like maybe high school. I think when we actually had like PE, because that's the last time I was active. But yeah, no, you seem to do a lot of those.
Yeah, we try to. This was the most extreme one that I've done, but we got a medal and all that stuff, and we got a free beer, so that was cool. But it was very rewarding, and we were stoked that we did it. And yeah, I'd definitely do it again. They have this thing, it's called the trifecta. So the one that we did was the sprint, which is like the introduction one, which is like 3 to 5 miles. They have the super, which is like 5 to 8 miles, and then they have the beast, which is like 10 to 12 miles or something like that. But if you get all of them within one calendar year, you get the trifecta medal. So I have one piece of the trifecta, and if I can continue to do it, then I can get the trifecta medal. So.
Oh, okay, that is actually kind of cool. And then you can put it, when you put it together, does like Captain Planet come out, or?
I don't know.
But
no, it's a cool medal. It's like heavy and like it's like metal. It's cool.
It's heavy metal. Rock on! No, that's cool. Yeah, I definitely need to get my ass doing stuff more. But that's cool. I'm glad you were able to go do that. Yeah, Matt, I know Eric was like, did he survive?
Yeah.
Me on the other hand, I went and saw Deadpool for the 4th time.
Nice.
Because I went out with like 3 other people. Like one person did not see it yet, and they're like, "Oh, we'll go see that." And then what I like, she was all like, "Well, I have to work at 5," so I'm like, "Okay, well, you want to see Star Wars or this?" I go, "Well, I guess Deadpool because it's shorter, and Star Wars is like almost 3 hours." So. But yeah, other than that, before we dive into all the good stuff, I do want to say this. So I guess it was Saturday, GameStop was doing this crazy thing. So I know it's been 20 years of Pokemon that's been out. So I'm wearing my little Pokemon beanie, which right now actually was a bad choice because we live in Arizona and it's not cool today. It's a little warm.
Yeah, today is warm. It was warm yesterday too.
It was nice in the morning, but then it was just like, ugh. But yeah,
20 years of Pokemon, man. That's so.
Yeah, so GameStop was doing this huge thing. Like you could buy like all these different things. I think they released, if I'm not mistaken, or it already came out, but they did release the new 3DSs with either red or blue. Looking on, so you either had Blastoise or Charizard on your DS, and then I think you got a copy of the game with the system, so you either got red or blue. I know they just released like I think red, blue, and yellow. I'm not sure if they released gold and silver yet, but on the eShop right now. So I was like, okay, that's kind of cool. I still have the originals.
Nice.
And it's great because I have the Super Game Boy, so I can just toss them into that if I want to just play on the big screen. And then plus I have that Pokemon Tournament Fighter that's coming out.
Yeah, that looks really, really cool. It actually reminds me of Pokemon Stadium back on Nintendo 64. Remember that game?
Yeah, that was crazy.
So it reminds me of that, but obviously updated with the new roster and obviously graphics have been boosted up, but it looks really cool. I really enjoyed Pokemon Stadium.
Yeah, no, that was a fun thing, and I also like the fact that you could just come over with your own Pokemon, load them in, like that you've already trained on the Game Boy and play. Like
that's right. It had the attachment where you could pop your game in there and import the characters. That's right. That was cool.
That's what I have to say. Nintendo has always been ahead of the times. They always come up with new, innovative ways to do stuff. Because that was awesome. Because you'd be like, oh, I could be at school, wink, wink, and play my Game Boy and train my thing, and then go home and then pop it in and be like, all right, we're gonna battle now, like on an actual like big screen kind of thing. I think the only problem was the fact that you could actually see like what the player was choosing, like for their attacks. So you're kind of like, oh, okay. But hopefully they try to fix that, and later thing or whatnot. But so congratulations for Pokemon for making it this long and being, it's weird. I didn't think Pokemon was going to be that popular when it came out. I know a lot of people were like, this is dumb, this is stupid, what the heck is wrong with this, a lot of people, and then other people just really jumped on. I mean, I can't even tell you what it's up to now, how many Pokemon. Even when I picked up one of the newer games, I was like, what the hell is this kind of thing. But yeah, so happy 20th anniversary, Pokemon.
I wonder I'm going to look up how many Pokemon games there are.
Yeah, and then they just announced a new one too, Sun and Moon.
Sun and Moon.
So I'm curious if that's going to go with like Silver and Gold, where they actually had the time implemented with it, where you actually could only catch certain Pokemon at night and certain Pokemon during the day.
I'm not sure. I'm intrigued by Moon though. I don't know. For some reason, I'm like, yeah, Moon seems pretty cool.
So you'd be the. So do we want to try for this again, where we say we're going to pick up different games and then try to play it? Because I don't mind getting Sun. If you want to pick up Moon, and we could figure out like, okay, let's see if this is fun or not. Because we were trying to do that with X and Y, and it just never happened.
So okay, I've got the list of them.
Okay.
So obviously you're qualifying like red is a single game, blue is a single game, or are you just going by series?
Let's go by series, because if you go by series, I know red, blue, and yellow are pretty much the same game.
Well, I guess let's just go down the timeline. So in 96, red and green came out.
Oh, that's right. In Japan, yeah.
Yeah, 97, blue came out. In 1998, we had yellow, red, and blue. So those must have red and blue. That's probably when it came to the States, maybe?
Yeah, that's when it came here, because I know in Japan, instead of it being blue, it was green. So they had red and green, and then they didn't release blue and red until, like, I think May of, like, 1998?
99, we had gold and silver. 2000, we had crystal. Then we jump a year, go to 2002, we had ruby and sapphire.
I think I had one of those.
Year. To 2004, we had fire red, and leaf green,
and that was basically the remake with just updated graphics of the original red and blue.
Okay, and then we also had emerald come out.
Yes.
Jump another year, go 2006. We had diamond and pearl.
Okay, yeah, I think pearl was the last one I picked up for the DS.
Okay, then we jump another year, go to 2008. We had platinum. 2009 we had heart gold and soul silver.
Yeah, didn't touch those.
2010 black and white. Black and white must have done really, really well, because we jumped to 2012. We have black 2 and white 2, unless that was like an updated roster or something.
It could have been. And actually, yeah, I'm trying to remember black and white.
I don't remember either, and that wasn't that long ago. 2013, we got X and Y. 2014, Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire. And then now we're going to jump to 2016, and we will have Sun and Moon later on this year. So there's quite a bit of games in this series.
And that's just on Game Boy and like the Game Boy series. Because I know there was the N64, they had Pokemon Stadium, then they had Pokemon Snap.
Yeah, Pokemon Snap.
And then they had Hey You Pikachu for the N64, which is almost like a microphone game where like you would talk. Really? It was like the game Seaman, where you would interact with them and stuff like that.
On the Dreamcast.
Yeah, but this is N64, because they released that like Pikachu edition, like N64. Right. That was weird.
Oh, yeah.
And then I think that was about it. I can't remember. And then I'm trying to think, did anything come out for the Wii or the Wii U Pokemon? I know the Wii U's finally getting ones. Like they're getting the the tournament fighter, and I guess then Pikachu being a character in like Smash Bros and stuff like that. But that's not really a Pokemon game. So, but yeah, they've had a long run on the Game Boy, and it's weird because I thought them to implement like a game on the Wii would have been a great idea. Even though I know they weren't going to do that, but to be basically playing it with like Wii graphics, but then you could be all like, you're going to throw out your Pokeball, you could literally toss it, you like use the remote for that, and fishing and all this kind of stuff. But who knows? I've been waiting for them just to port over one to a console, like would be the beefed up graphics and kind of like a cool RPG. That's what I liked about this, though. It was a very RPG oriented. Yes, I know, Toshiba. I have an update. But yeah, so
we also have Pokemon Go coming up, which is that augmented reality game on mobile devices.
Yeah, that's gonna be cray. Yeah, but Pokemon, it's still kicking. Which is funny because there was that other show that came out trying to compete with Pokemon, or just like a different thing, but Digimon, Digital Monsters. Yeah, and I don't think that went over. Like, I remember somebody just told me, they're like, yeah, I just picked up a new Digimon game. I'm like, they still make those? Like, I thought that was just like a fad. Like, everybody was doing, like, trying to come, Digimon have more power. Yeah, I know the words. So happy anniversary, Pokemon, 20 years, and that's pretty crazy, because literally that means, like, because this year is 30 years of Legend of Zelda.
Yeah.
So just 10 years after that, Pokemon hit the scene. So Nintendo knows what they're doing. So, before we jump into some of the show notes and everything like this, Matthew, what have you been playing this week?
So I've been playing a lot of a downloadable game called Rocket League. It finally came to Xbox One, and
Yay!
I've gotten it, and it's insanely addictive and a lot of fun. It's pretty much on like a soccer field, and you and other people have little cars, and you try to score goals with cars, and it's it's addictive as all hell.
Now, how are the the controls? Very easy, very simple, very cool.
Yeah, very simplified. Obviously, you can make them a little bit more advanced with doing like trick shots and stuff like that. But
Okay.
you got your go, your reverse, your boost, your jump, and that's really all the buttons you need. And then try to score goals. It's a lot of fun if you use teamwork with other people rather than jumping on and everybody just trying to go for the ball at once.
Oh, okay, yeah.
If you can strategize and like do assists and stuff, it gets pretty rad.
All right, and now this just came out, and this is what, $20 on Xbox Live?
Yep.
Okay, now I know you've been picking up a lot of those ones, so it's kind of like the lower end. No, I wouldn't say lower price games. I'm about to say lower end games. I'm like, I don't really consider those lower end games because it's just instead of making like a huge big release for them, they're like, oh, it's a digital download, $20. Don't have to leave the house. Don't have to pay, like $59.99 for like a game sometimes. But yeah, this is already the second game that you recommend. So I know probably when I get paid this Friday, I'm definitely going to check out Rocket League, and then that other one you talked about, the puzzle one with the island and everything like that.
Yeah, Oxenfree, that one's fun.
So yeah, you've been getting me into a little bit more of doing like more of the downloadable games and stuff like that. And don't get me wrong, I like getting the big games, but sometimes the big games come down to where you buy it and then you're like, oh, disappointment, But like this one these are kind of like you buy them and you're like, it was okay, but it wasn't that bad. But then you're not like, I'm out, $60 something.
Yeah, there's a new survival game, top down, that came out called The Flame and the Flood.
Okay.
That I've been watching on Twitch. It looks pretty cool. It's got a day and night cycle, and you and your dog are rafting down this river because there's this big flood, and then you stop at these little towns along the way and gather supplies and food, and you can make weapons and things like that. But obviously, you've got like enemies, and there's people that you can interact with. It looks pretty cool. Obviously, I don't know the meat and potatoes of the game or the storyline, but that's what I've observed so far just watching people on Twitch.
Oh, that's cool.
I'm looking at that one to do next.
Okay, very nice. I think we might have to give you like a segment of what indie game Matthew's playing this week or something like that. But yeah, because you're a huge Twitch watcher and everything like that, and I haven't even done that. I've done a little bit of Twitch, like showing videos, but either I get bored with it at one point, or I have no idea what I'm doing. Like most people can just sit there and just do stuff, and people just watch them play and everything. I always feel like my stuff is boring because I either forget what I'm doing, like talking to the audience, and then I just end up playing, and then people will jump in. They'll be like, "Oh, hey," and I'll be like, "Oh, yeah, that's right. I'm streaming." Like I just get engulfed in the game. So, but that's cool. Yeah, so I'll definitely check out Rocket League.
Yeah, for sure.
And then you and I both finally got to play the Division. Well, you already played it.
Yeah,
we both played the Division beta.
The open beta. So you got in there and played it a little bit. So I'm intrigued to hear your thoughts on the little bit of the game that you played.
I love it. Like it was one of those games that I saw like Tom Clancy. I'm like, I'm not a huge, and not saying like he makes bad games or writes bad books or anything like that. I think the only game I played was Splinter Cell. Never played like the Rainbow Six or anything like that, but I was just like, oh, okay, these are kind of cool, interesting, but not like really like it's a game like when he announced something, I'm like, I'm going to go out and buy it. So the Division, I really had no idea what it was about. It just seemed like kind of like a Tom Clancy game again, where you're just kind of running around, and then you were like, oh no, it's an MMO where you can team up with people, go through this, and I'm like, okay, it's a third person one, so that intrigued me right off the bat. So I was like, okay. So I started playing it. Absolutely loved it. I like the mechanics in it. I like the controls in it. The ducking, covering, the switching out your weapons, finding new gear, upgrading your character, getting like perks. Just basically leveling up your character and all that fun stuff. I did play it on both. I did play it on Xbox One and PlayStation 4.
Okay.
I will say this: there is no difference in graphics. So I'm just going to say that now. So anytime anybody posts that bullshit online now, No. There is no difference. It looks exactly the same. It plays exactly the same. The PlayStation one was weird though. I had two guys just randomly jump into my game, like just start playing on my team, but none of them had Well, they had headsets on, but then I wasn't really talking to them, so I removed mine. But then one guy, it literally was like, he's like, "How do I do this? How do I do that?" And the other guy was like walking him through stuff. But I basically just kind of like left the team. Like I went off and did my own thing while they were trying to figure stuff out. And like they come into a room and all the guys are already done. I'm like already running halfway through the mission because I replayed it on the Xbox One doing stuff. But really enjoyed it. I want to see more of the implement of teamwork with people, because I did go at some stuff alone and it was kind of difficult. Like, oh, okay, so I can kind of see where you need like your teammates to help you out. And then I never got to venture into the dark zone at all. So I definitely want to check that out because that does sound intriguing. So this is good. And actually, I thought the game was coming out at the end of the month. Turns out it's coming out the second week of March. Yeah. And I'm like, crap. So I'm going to have a lot of stuff on my plate already again. But this is definitely a game that I was like, you know what, I'll buy this on launch because it just seems like I'm going to get my money's worth, basically.
Yeah. I think if Destiny can start getting some content out like that, then I think they'll be fine. If not, I think a lot of people from Destiny are going to jump over to this game because it's very appealing. So,
it very
That's
is.
my thoughts.
No, and don't get me wrong, I like Destiny, and I mean already they're going to release another like DLC, they said, with Destiny, and then they already plotted Destiny 2 for 2017. So it's like, okay, cool. But yeah, no, I think the Division's going to be it's just a new game finally, and you're not kind of going through the same stuff because I mean, granted, once you play through Destiny and beat everything and do all the strikes and stuff, you're like kind of just doing the same thing over and over again, so you kind of know what to expect. Yeah. So this will be kind of new stuff to learn and be like, okay, cool, and things like that. So, and I did like some of the perks. I like the detonator you can get, where you just kind of set that, and then when guys come over, you can finally like launch it and stuff. Grenades were fun. Like doing headshots. I love doing the headshots in the game and stuff. So, but yeah, just overall, just fun game. So if you guys didn't get a chance to play the open beta, of course, the game will come out in March 8th, is what you said, I believe.
Yep.
So definitely check that out. Matthew and I will be on playing it. So it's funny because I was trying to talk my brother into it, but then I was all like, well, I don't need to do like what I did with Destiny and get both games for both systems just so I can play with people. So most likely I am picking up for Xbox, because I think they're doing it more towards the Xbox, where they're going to get the DLCs first.
Yeah, they'll get it. It's one of those timed ones that they'll have it like 30 days before.
So yeah, but
PlayStation, I guess.
But definitely liked it. And then played a little bit of Destiny, jumped in a little bit of the Valentine's Day stuff. Didn't really get to play that much during that. It was just interesting to see, but still trying to get characters up in my PlayStation game, but didn't really sit down and play too much. But I think I'm kind of gearing up for right now. Legend of Zelda Twilight Princess comes out on Friday, so I think I'm going to be getting that and blazing through that.
I was watching IGN was doing a play first on Twitch of the Twilight Princess HD, and I was watching that, and there's a lot of the game I do not remember. I beat the game. I own the game, but it was a while ago, so I don't really remember it. And it looks so good. The remake of it just looks freaking awesome.
It's really ridiculous too, because if you look at I know if I look at the Wii version and even the GameCube version, like it's still a good looking game, but this one just looks like it's cleaned and polished, and because that one just kind of had like that weird kind of like weird texture to it, where like everything seemed almost blurry, if I remembered. But yeah, this one looks like they really cleaned it up. Looks a lot of fun. I'm just looking forward to using a controller with this, and hopefully they implement the stuff that they did with Wind Waker HD, where you can literally find your items, pull up stuff, and that's why I think the next Legend of Zelda game, which will be released at the end of this year, not only for the new system that's coming out, but they're going to do like what they did with Twilight Princess, is will come out for the Wii U. Though I'm on the fence where I'm like, I just got all the consoles, I'm finally updated. Nintendo's going to release this. Depending on the price, I might be picking that up at launch as well, the new system, just because Matthew knows I have problems. He's seen my place where he's just like, oh, wow, you got more crap you don't need. Huh? But yeah. I
never said that. You said that.
I know. I'm just kidding. But yeah, it's going to be nuts.
Yeah, for sure. I'm intrigued to see. Obviously, you said you're going to be picking it up this upcoming Friday, so I'll be intrigued to see it more in person rather than just online. And then, yeah, the new console at the end of the year. I'm really curious about it. I didn't pick up a Wii U, although I'm a fan of the games that have gotten released and what I see of it. I just don't think it's got enough for me to validate giving it a purchase. We'll see once the new system comes out later this year if we'll have another price drop or something like that, and then maybe I'll decide to. Or if the new console comes out and it blows me away, then I might get that as well. I don't know. We'll see.
I would say this: if you did not pick up a Wii U, and you're intrigued with the new console, I would say go with the new console just because you know they're going to have the backwards compatibility with everything else.
You think they will?
Oh, I know. This is Nintendo. I mean, you can still play, and not only that, but you can just put in all the. I think, if I'm not mistaken, I believe I can still put a GameCube game into the Wii U and play that. So,
really?
yeah.
Wow.
So it's just one of those kind of. Nintendo's pretty good at keeping everything like linked and stuff like that. I wasn't even trying to make a joke there, but I did.
Nice.
But I mean, honestly, it's like me right now. I think the only games probably left that I want to get for the Wii U is the Star Fox when it comes out. Obviously, the Legend of Zelda, Mario Maker. I think there's Splatoon, the Yoshi game, and Bayonetta, which actually I just saw drop because you get Bayonetta 1 and 2 with it, so it was all like, oh, why not? That's a good price. But yeah, I know that dropped in price as well. But I mean, pretty much everything that I have right now is pretty much the entire like games that I pretty much wanted for the Nintendo Wii U. Buying it's very different when you get a Nintendo game because you're not going to be out buying like, you know, the Assassin's Creeds for it or, you know, all that kind of stuff. It's more of you're getting it for Nintendo games. So, but yeah, I'm looking forward to E3 this year. We'll see if Nintendo reveals anything, gives us some
Coming up,
specs.
a few more months.
We'll see what they're going to plan on doing. But enough about Nintendo. I saw this, and speaking of which, since the Oscars, we're recording this on Sunday, so tonight the Oscars are on, and somebody decided to make a game for Leonardo DiCaprio. Needs to win that Oscar. I watched the video. It actually looks like a pretty crazy game, though. Like, it's really well done. It looks like it's just one of those speed run kind of games. Okay. So I think your character's like constantly running.
Is it like a 2D?
Yeah, it's a 2D side scroller, but it looks like almost like the old school, like kind of I would say maybe 16-bit graphics. But if you want to click on that video or whatnot, we'll probably, I don't know if I posted it on Facebook yet, but I'll probably do that. But yeah, it's pretty interesting to see that. And he's just like, I got to get that Oscar. And then it's like other like stars are going after the Oscar as well. In certain points, and then you have like all these different like trials to do, like get to the car or get to like it's really intriguing. But I think it's free right now. I don't know if you have to go to a website to play it or you can get it off of Steam or whatnot. But apparently everybody really wants. I think it's literally called "Help Poor Leonardo DiCaprio Win an Oscar in This New Video Game."
This is funny. It like starts off and he's like running on the red carpet. Right now, it's got a little side one where he's in Wolf of Wall Street when he takes the drugs and then tries to. Have you seen that movie?
No.
Oh, there's a scene where he like takes all these drugs and then he's at this country club and he tries to go home, but he's all drugged up and like gets in this Lamborghini and just totally wrecks it. But in his mind, he like got there all safe. I don't know. It's pretty funny.
So definitely check out Leo's Red Carpet Rampage.
Absolutely. It
right now, funny. It's looks pretty interesting. So like even video gamers want Leo DiCaprio to win.
We'll find out.
Yeah, we'll find out. If he doesn't get it,
it's gonna be kind of funny.
He's gonna be pissed.
Oh man. So Bethesda Game Studios looks like they are looking to do more mobile style games. If you got the chance to play Fallout Shelter, which was announced at last year's E3 in anticipation to Fallout 4, that game was very addictive, and I'm intrigued to see what else they come up with to, I don't know, maybe they'll do like an Elder Scrolls type game or something like that.
They'll be like Elder Scrolls Candy Crush, or, you know, no, just kidding. But
I think they'll have a little bit more meat and potatoes.
I think so too. Bethesda seem to know what they're doing, or they might even come up with a brand new like idea that they haven't done, or even revisit some old games that they haven't even like brought back or whatnot. But yeah, I was very intrigued with that. So it's kind of cool that not only they're going to keep trying to make these huge epic games, but a lot of the mobile games, which the mobile games are great, you know, I mean, especially nowadays. Like, I don't know what we did before mobile games. Like, when you're sitting somewhere and you have to wait at a doctor's office or the DMV or doing anything, you're able just to finally pull out your phone and just be like, all right, I'm going to do this for a little bit.
Yeah. Well, it looks like Fallout Shelter, there was 1 billion sessions in the game's first month alone on iOS. And then that Fallout Shelter made $5.1 million during its first 2 weeks of being released. So obviously this is a huge money generator for Bethesda, and it looks like the stats are showing that. So of course they're going to want to go down that route and make more of it.
Yeah, and maybe they'll even do stuff like instead of an Angry Bird game, they'll do like the Angry, oh god, what are those things called? Death Claws, So you just fling Death Claws at stuff.
Yeah.
Or
you
something.
Just fling them up in the air.
You're just like, no, I'm pretty sure, Steve, they're going to come up with a different game. They're not just going to rip off from someone. I'm like, no. They'll just rip off. They don't have ideas. It's Bethesda. They don't have any ideas. No, I'm kidding. But that's actually kind of cool. So I don't know how I feel about all this kind of stuff. This came out a while ago, and this girl, like, I have nothing against her. Rodna Rousey.
Oh, Ronda Rousey.
Yeah, I have nothing against her or anything like that, but it's like she keeps petitioning to play in movies of characters and stuff. I'm like, yeah, I would love to see these movies, but I don't know how great of an actor she is. I mean, I know she can fight and kick ass, and she might be great as a stunt double or something like that, but I don't know her acting skills.
Well, she's currently working on the remake of the Roadhouse.
Oh, is she?
So, yeah, we'll see how she does in that when it gets released. But
all right, that's
it looks
fine.
like she's wanting to play Samus.
Yeah, which is actually kind of funny because they just did a fan film with Jessica Chobot, like Samus thing that came back like a couple of months ago on IGN. No, not IGN, Nerdist, I think.
Yeah, she's on Nerdist.
Yeah, she's on Nerdist now, and I was blown away by that. And I was all like, honestly, I would love to see her do it because she dyed her hair and had the part, and she knows video games and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But I mean, I know she wanted to play Miss Marvel. I know she wanted to play all this kind of stuff. So I guess we'll have to wait to see how the Roadhouse 2.0 does and go from there. But it's like I can't really judge her. I'm like, yeah, she could be a great actress. I don't know, but I think she's only been in like, what was it? She was in Expendables 3, I think.
Was she? I never saw that.
Either did I. I don't know. But I know she was in a movie called Hardwire.
Okay.
And then I heard like her fighting and everything that was awesome, but then I heard like I think they actually dubbed over her voice.
Oh, really?
I think I could be wrong on this. I mean, I'm trying to remember because Hardwire was one of those movies that came out and then like left theaters like right away.
Looks like she had a fighting scene in Fast and the Furious 7.
Oh, okay. Oh yeah, she did. Dang, look at her. God, I would not want to go head to head with that girl. I'm sorry.
If Nintendo ever decides to make a Samus movie, a Metroid movie, maybe we will see Ronda Rousey in the role.
Possibly. I like I said, not saying anything against her or anything like that. I have to see her act before I could be like because I'm like I know this character. I like this character, and it's like I kind of don't want to see what happened with Super Mario Brothers. Speaking of which, I know Nintendo has been in talks with like Netflix and everything like that, so they are trying to branch out into TV series and anime and all this other kind of stuff to bring their Nintendo characters. In fact, there actually has been a rumor that they want to make a video game movie, kind of like the Lego movie, with all the Nintendo characters together.
Ooh, that'd be cool.
That would be interesting. So, I mean, if you get some good voice talents behind it and just do it like a CGI movie, that would be pretty interesting.
Yeah, I mean, even Wreck-It Ralph had like some Nintendo characters. Well, no, I guess they weren't Nintendo characters, but obviously there was a bunch of video game characters in there.
Yeah, I don't know if Nintendo gave them any of the rights or they didn't.
Well,
they had Bowser, so maybe they did. So, and they did mention Mario, so I don't think they had anything against it.
And I'm sure Pixar probably shelled out a lot of money for all that stuff. So.
But it'd be kind of interesting. I would do this story, but I just realized it's been a couple of weeks. So
yeah, I was looking at that too. So we might as well skip that one because the deals are probably not active anymore.
Yeah, I know. The only one that I know that's still active is, which I think is weird. So Xbox One, you can still buy a controller from them for like $10 off.
I saw their little promotion deal, so I jumped on there and I was like, oh, yeah, this isn't really that great of a deal.
That's what I was like, and I'm like, well, the next controller I plan on buying is that Elite one because I'm all like, it seems really cool and stuff like that, but I'm also like, I'm going to wait till I have the actual money to throw down. But again, that controller was one of those that were like, oh, no one's going to buy this, and then no one can keep it in stores now, so.
You're right. I honestly haven't even seen one, like, not on display or anything, so I have no idea.
That is true. I don't think when I've gone to the store if I've actually seen it on the shelf, or I think I've just seen pictures. I know I saw a lot on Christmas Day when people opened it up.
Okay.
But that's about it. I will say this. So this week at Best Buy, I know Halo 5 just dropped to $39.99. So if no one's picked that up, they want to pick it up. That's a good price, $20 off. And also Dead, not Left 4 Dead, Until Dawn, the PlayStation 4 game, finally dropped in price. So now instead of $59.99, it's now $39.99. So that's another game that's also on my list that I do want to pick up and just slowly waiting for. But this is interesting. So I'm going to be honest. I have no idea what this game is about. I keep hearing everything about it. You might be more in the wherewithal with it, but Quantum Break?
Yeah, it's like a time-bending game, action game, and it's got a TV show, Quantum Break, that is going to go alongside it. So,
now, if I'm not mistaken,
I don't really know all that much about it either, but it looks pretty cool. But it's gone gold.
Yes.
So what that means is when a development on a game is finished, they submit it and they start doing, the manufacturing of the discs and things like that. So the game is finished and it's gone gold, and it's launching on April 5th on Xbox One and PC.
Now, I know there was a lot of uproar with that.
Well, the PC edition will be sold exclusively through Windows 10. It won't be available on Steam, which is kind of interesting because I think they're really hurting themselves with the size of market that they have, especially with Steam. But there was a lot of hubbub. Like, people were getting upset because it wasn't an Xbox exclusive, but really it's like a Microsoft exclusive. It's not coming out on any other platform. So I think people are just getting upset over something that doesn't need to be upset.
Yeah, I think people just like to complain about stuff that doesn't need to be complained about.
Absolutely.
Because
that is the internet.
Yeah, that's the if I think the new rule is if you can complain about it, you can post about it. But yeah, no, Quantum Break does look like interesting. I just remember seeing a couple of movie scenes, but I really had no idea what it was about or anything like that. So that's coming. So again, that comes out in April. That, of course, my Ratchet and Clank. See this? You know what, Matthew? Maybe as much as I would love for you to get another system or whatnot, maybe you shouldn't. Don't fall down the rabbit hole I have. I'm like, save your money for your vinyl albums.
There we go.
But this is interesting. So finally, Tales from the Borderlands, that Telltale game that came out that was like released, ever so often episodically, is finally getting released on disc.
Nice. I heard a lot of people really enjoyed that game. So I think that's one of Telltale's best work so far.
Yeah, and it's funny because I don't want to say, I don't want to jinx them or whatnot, but I'm like, so far Telltale games have not done anything wrong. With their games, it seems like they can just produce gold. But of course, I say that, and then what's going to happen is Batman will come out and it'll be horrible or something like that, and people will be like, Steve sucks at life. Every time Steve opens his mouth, things fail. Speaking of which, Telltale Games also at Best Buy, they just dropped down the Wolf Among Us first season to $7.99 on Xbox One. So that's a really good deal because I think they're usually about like $14 or something like
that. Yeah, each episode. Yeah, I think they're probably about $10.
Yeah, and then I think
$15 maybe it's 15.
Yeah, I think when you buy them separately, it's $15, or if you do the season pass and pay like the flat rate. But then usually when they come out on disc, they're only selling them for like $19.99.
Yeah, that's true.
So, but yeah, I thought that was pretty good for them, and it doesn't surprise me because everything does that. So, Matthew, this is right up your alley because you got Black Ops 3 for the Xbox One.
Yeah.
So I don't know if you're going to be one of those people who jump in and get all the DLCs because usually it's map packs and they never really add anything to the storylines. But they finally gave a release date of when they can expect seeing these things on PC and Xbox One. It looks like on March 3rd, Activision announced that it looks like the expansion packs to launch in February 1st on PlayStation 4 will finally be coming out too. So yeah, in less than a week, these will be coming out.
PlayStation's already launched, but the first expansion is called Awakening. And Xbox and PC get it on March 3rd. And Awakening comes with 4 multiplayer packs. You get Skyjacked, Splash, Gauntlet, and Rise, as well as a new zombie map called Der Essenderch.
Essenderch. It's probably German.
Must be German something. And it picks up where the Giant left off. So it must be a continuation of the zombie storyline. So interesting, but you can get the DLC season pass for $50, or you can download each one for $15. There's 3 further packs to be released after the Awakening, but we don't have release dates on those. And DLC will not be coming to PS3 or Xbox 360, so sorry about that.
So basically, when they made that game for those systems, which they probably shouldn't have, they're just like, so if you bought this, you chose poorly.
Yeah. And then it looks like there's also a multiplayer-only version of the game for $15 on Steam. So you don't have to deal with the single player content.
So yeah, I don't know how I'm feeling about the DLCs and stuff like that. I mean, they're great and all and cool, but I hate how it's like you buy the season pass for $50, yet if you bought the game at launch for $60 and then you're paying another $50, that's like $100 and like, you know, what, $20 almost, like probably total.
Hope the game's worth it.
Yeah, I know. That's what I'm just saying. Like, I mean, like, don't get me wrong. Like, Fallout, their DLCs will come out, and that's something I will buy because, I mean, I got the ones for Fallout 3, and those are like, you know, 3-4 hours worth of game content, and you're getting, you know, more stuff, cooler equipment, everything like that. Even with like the Skyrim and stuff like that, you're getting more story to it. But like buying just like these map packs, and especially if you're like me, where you really don't play online multiplayer that often, unless it's like a certain game that I actually really enjoy, I don't even think like some of them are worth it.
I did pick up Call of Duty 3. I haven't played that much of it, but I did it during one of those buy two get one game promotion things. And I mean, the multiplayer is fun. It took me back to the times when I did play. I think the last game I had gotten before that was Modern Warfare 3, and it's kind of like muscle memory. You just get in there, but it's gotten so much more fast paced, and you can do so much customization. It's kind of overwhelming, and obviously there's people on there that are much better than me, and I get my ass kicked. But
yeah, well, you're also you also talk about people who basically just get the game and that's all they play is.
Yeah.
Which is funny because people actually ask me. I think I got made fun of on one podcast that's on our network when I was on there, going like, "Wait, you actually play the story mode on Call of Duty?" I'm like, "Yeah." They're like, "You don't play the multiplayer?" I'm like, "No." Like, I don't see what the problem is. It's like the game, honestly, and the reason why I can see why people don't like the story mode if you actually played it. Basically, if you've played any Call of Duty game, it's the same story. It's one guy yelling at you to do stuff. You do everything. Then you find out the guy you're working for turns out to be the bad guy. Oh, big spoiler turnarounds, you know, kind of thing. And then you defeat him, and then you're like, oh, it's over. And then you're like, here's the second one. Oh, no, there's a new threat. Oh, you find out he's working for the same organization as you. To me, why don't you just make a Call of Duty say, fuck it? Just that's what it's called. Call of Duty, fuck it. And you just show up at a building and you just kill everybody. And it's like, congratulations, you won. You wiped out all the terrorists or something. I don't know. It's just, that's what I feel what it should be. But it always comes down to the same thing where it's like, oh, you're the bad guy. Okay. Like, give me something new. Make it an alien.
Futuristic. Oh, they've already gone futuristic, but aliens, yeah, they haven't done that.
Yeah, so I don't know about this, but you probably, since we haven't played, this is something probably definitely for Raven to know, but the hunt for all the Fallout 4 secrets that might not even exist. So apparently, I know Fallout 4 and most Bethesda's games just have all these hidden things throughout, and most of them have nothing to do with the storyline, side quest, or anything. They're just these things they throw in that you'll just discover and just be like, oh, holy crap, like, what is this? So apparently, like, people have been looking for a certain, I guess, Toshiba, I get it. I feel like I'm just, like, getting achievements every time that pops up. It's all like, but yeah, so I guess there's this theory of a ghoul whale is in Fallout 4.
Okay.
Let's see. Had a ghoul whale somewhere which players could uncover if they just rang a bell in a certain order. Personally, I don't find this theory very convincing. Sure, someone would have found something this big hidden in the code by now, but I find this worth nothing because it's a sort of an outlandish speculation beyond. While discussing the potential secrets, Howard mentioned it is on the level of a GTA 5's jetpack hunt, where players try to find clues in the most unlikely places without all of the last secrets theories floating around online. The Bayo one is the thing that I've seen repeated the most. So I guess people still feel like there's this huge ghoul whale out in the middle of the ocean, which I think would be creepy as fuck to run into.
Right.
That's the last thing I want to see. But knowing them, they'll probably put in like a underwater level and be like, oh, ghoul sharks. And everyone's like, oh, crap. I
haven't even made it to the ocean in that game.
You and me both. I've actually thought about like popping it in and starting up again and whatnot. Diving in. Because I think what I did the dumb thing, and I burnt myself out on Fallout by playing Fallout 3. Because I jumped into that and was like, oh my god, this is the greatest game in the world. I'm like, I'm super so psyched for, Fallout 4. And then I started playing it going like, oh my god, what am I doing? Overwhelm. But yeah, so I think when Raven comes back, we can get her opinion if she's found any secrets or she knows any of the secrets that might actually be true. We could probably do a breakdown of like Fallout 4 myths and theories.
Yeah,
would be interesting.
I'm sure she knows quite a bit.
Oh yeah, no. Considering how I look at her game and she's like, I'm like, oh, she's at level 4. Oh, she's replaying the game. Like she's already done with it. And this is interesting story. So I know everyone got together. The Silent Hill PT. This was supposed to be the Silent Hill game that was done by Guillermo del Toro, if I'm pronouncing that correctly. I always seem to,
Guillermo del Toro.
Also with what's his face from The Walking Dead, who plays Daryl. His name escapes me right now. Norman Reedus, and also of course the guy who pretty much put Konami on the map, Hideo Komoji, I believe. If I'm pronouncing his name right, but
Hideo Kojima.
Yeah, thank you, Hideo Kojima. They basically, he left Konami, as they pretty much fired his ass, which I don't understand that. Yeah, so he started his own thing, but they are still talking about might not be a Silent Hill game because that's owned by Konami, but it could be a brand new game, but with the help of Del Toro and everybody else working with this, Norman Reedus. I think it would be a pretty cool new game coming out. So
yeah, absolutely. I never got to play the PT trailer, but I hear it was pretty scary.
And and what's really crazy is like the trial version of that game that came out, people were still finding all these hidden Easter eggs throughout I think 2 years later, people are still finding new stuff with it. So
wow, that's impressive.
It would be pretty cool, and I could actually see them coming up with something crazy. I mean, those two are both huge horror people. They know exactly what they're doing, and just putting Norman Reedus in it will not only get you credibility, but being able to play this badass guy, and with all the face motion capture and stuff like that, it would be an interesting game. So I really would like to see where this would go, because I love me some horror games.
The thing about that is I feel like Guillermo has been behind a few games that have gotten all this hype and then it just doesn't follow through. So if we ever get a Guillermo game, I'd be interested to see how it is. But to this point, we haven't. So
yeah, I know, 'cause that's the problem. There's all this hype behind the games and they never happen. But also speaking of horror games and everything else, this isn't a story that I put in the show notes, but I figured I'd mention it real quick. So they did re-release Resident Evil 1 HD remastered with the new graphics, and also I think Resident Evil 0. They just announced, I believe coming out in early March, they're releasing Resident Evil 6. They're going to be releasing Resident Evil 4, 5, and 6 will be coming to the new next-gen consoles, which is so weird. Don't get me wrong, great games, fun games. Will be kind of cool to see the new graphics and everything like that. Hopefully the buddy system's a lot better in Resident Evil 5 than it was in the original. Yeah. I like that game, but it was so I hated the fact that you die and then you start all the way back from the beginning of that level, and you're like, are you freaking kidding me? 4 was very difficult as well too, but it should be interesting. But weird part is they've not have talked about a remaster, remake, retelling, or anything of Resident Evil 2, which was one of the best games in that series. So I don't know if they're doing the Final Fantasy thing where they're like, oh, we'll work on it, we'll get to it, and then they're finally going to release it, it'll be like episodic, and everyone's going to be like, you bastards, kind of thing. So, but so look forward to those remasters coming out. And if you've never played them, go ahead and check them out. They're pretty good games. I like them, and whatnot. So yeah, that should be everyone's horror fix for the next couple of days. Yeah, for a little bit. And then I'm trying to see. We just know Far Cry Primal came out. Been doing really good. Been getting a lot of good reviews.
Been getting good scores. Been watching it on Twitch. It's interesting. I'll wait until it comes down in price a little bit, but it looks pretty cool.
I think also came out this week or coming out soon is going to be the Plants vs. Zombies Garden Warfare 2.
Yep, that came out.
Okay.
Those games are fun. So I haven't seen a lot of it, but I know that there are 3 new characters on both the plant side and the zombie side. I'll jump on Twitch and start checking it out. But those games are very, very fun.
We also have the Mega Man Legacy Collection will finally be coming out. It said release date February 23rd, but I've not seen it. Every time I go to look at it online, it still says pre-order or whatnot. So I think so, unless I'm wrong. But right now it's $29.99. Yeah, it's going to be for 3DS, PlayStation 4, and Xbox One. Which is weird that it's not coming out to the Wii U unless they just didn't list it. But pretty much every single Mega Man game on that thing, so I'll definitely pick that up because I'm a huge Mega Man fan, and I've been waiting on that other game, that Mighty Number 9, for ever now. Of course, we have The Walking Dead Michonne by Telltale Games. that'll be coming out. It'll have 3 episodes, so most likely it'll be released on episodically and whatnot until it finally comes out.
Yeah.
I don't know why this is on the release dates, but apparently if you didn't see it, it's coming out is the Good Dinosaur. So check that movie out. And then I'm trying to see if there's anything else that's interesting that's coming out.
And by the time people hear these will already be all out. So get out there and purchase them.
Yeah. Oh yeah, so then of course the Pokemon games just got re-released, and then of course at the end of this week will be the HD version of The Legend of Zelda Twilight Princess, which is a cool bundle deal you're getting. Is you'll get that and the amiibo Link as the wolf, which is kind of cool. It unlocks like a new level, which obviously Nintendo did not want that release, but somebody fucked up on that one. And then, of course, if you have any other amiibos with that, it unlocks stuff as well. So I actually have to go through, and I have to track down a Toon Link, a Sheik, and a Ganondorf, because as much as I don't want to keep getting all the amiibos, but I do like the Legend of Zelda ones. And then, because I have Zelda and Link right now, and then I have Samus. So, and then if I can find a Zero Suit Samus, I got to find that. But that's the only problem I have with the amiibos. They were just like limited run of some of these characters. So
supposedly with Ganondorf, it does like a harder difficulty. With Toon Link, you can replenish arrows. And this is just the information when I was watching the IGN live playthrough.
Okay.
But that's cool that if you kind of put your little amiibo on the little pad thing, you get an added bonus of whatever.
Yeah, and they did that with Hyrule Warriors as well.
Nice.
You unlock different weapons or new skills and stuff like that, which is kind of cool. So I can kind of see how the amiibos are kind of like a cool thing. I just kind of wish they would just give you like maybe like if you didn't want to get them, but you do want the perks, if they just sold like a little like disc that you could just touch on the thing. If you don't want that, I mean honestly, I do love the characters and I like how it looks. They're little fun little things, but yeah, it's gonna be one of those things where I'm just like, I don't need it to become my pop vinyl collection, kind of thing.
Right.
But yeah, so looking forward to that, and then like of course when Matthew comes over for next week's show, I should have it, so we'll probably sit down and play that for a little bit, and then we can talk about it on the thing. And I have not picked up Street Fighter V because I am waiting on that thing to drop. I do want to play it. It does seem interesting, but I want them to fix a bunch of stuff and possibly wait till it goes on sale, or if I have a nice little coupon that I don't have to pay full price for that game, because I do want to play another game for my PlayStation 4. But yeah, so I think that's going to wrap up all this news for this week's on Arcade Bros. Of course, you can find me at Stephen Mooney Jr. on the Twitter. Don't forget to check out us on our gamer tags as Schooldaze, SKOOLDAZE069 on Xbox and Wii U, and PlayStation is the same thing, just remove that 0, so it's just 69 at the end. Matthew, if people are looking for you, where can they find you?
At Matthew Renfro on social media, and then on Xbox, I'm at Argyle, ARGYLE.
And don't forget to follow us on Twitter at arcade_bros. And don't forget to check out arcade-bros.com on the Facebook page. Don't forget to check out all the other great shows on the 4i Radio Network. And I think that's going to wrap up this episode of Arcade Bros. So until next time, kiddos, keep on gaming. This has been another fine production of the 4i Radio Network. For more great shows, check out www.4iradio.com. Balls.